My brothers and sisters, this is ODJ, Otis Drip Jones, MrDoItMan himself. And I have a question for you all. I want to know, is it 2020 or is it 1820? And the reason I ask that question is because we are seeing same behavior that was on display in 1820 is still on display in 2020. And people have the notion to say, well, look how far we've come as Americans. We haven't come far at all. In fact, we're still the same. The only difference is now that behavior, because of technology, is being filmed. What about all the countless times that certain behaviors went unnoticed, went untalked about because out of sight, out of mind? So on July 4th, 2020, Vaughx Booker of Bloomington, Indiana, was almost hung from a tree because he was accused of trespassing.
Sean, let him go.
You're causing more problems. You are so. You're doing this.
Sean, let him go.
I am not talking.
We're just trying to get out of here, guys. We're just trying to get out of here.
Listen.
Let him go.
Let him go. I don't get sarcastic. I don't care. You can look back whatever you want.
Let him go.
Let him go, dude. Let him go.
Sean,
Let him go. Please, let him go.
hold on. Get up.
Please let him go.
You go.
We're going to as soon as you let him go.
You go.
I'm going to.
You guys all go. Guys, get the fuck out of here.
Let him go.
Get your phones out of here and go.
Let him
Shake
go.
your head at me
Let him
and
go.
Get the
Let him
fuck
go.
out of here.
So let's say he was trespassing. From the video, it's in a wooded area. So maybe the brother got lost, whatever. But if he's on someone else's property, that doesn't warrant him being lynched from a tree. In fact, nothing warrants another human being to be hung from a tree. And if it wasn't for some good-hearted white people to come by and say, let him go, they would have killed that man and they would have hung him from a tree. Mr. Booker said that this angry mob of white supremacist men and women, they taunted him and followed him. And then it escalated when they grabbed him and forced him on the tree, up against the tree, while many were screaming white power. And someone else said, get a noose. See, the thing is, he's an activist in Indiana. And he speaks on human rights. He advocates for black people. But because they don't want that to happen, they want to intimidate him with terror, and they want to hang him from a tree. And what makes me so sick about it is many people want to label the Black Lives Matter movement as a terrorist group. And anyone who's associated with Black Lives Matter is a terrorist. But this type of behavior is never called out and labeled as terrorist behavior. So since many are uneducated on what the word terrorist really means, let me, MrDoItMan, educate you. So the word terror is defined as a person, usually a member of a group who uses or advocates terrorism. A person who terrorizes or frightens others. So I'm able to say that Donald Trump is a terrorist because he frightens a whole lot of people. He frightened so many people that they didn't vote for him to get in office. 2.8 million people voted for him not to be the president of the United States. Hillary Clinton beat his tail by 2.8 million votes. That's how many people are frightened by what we have in the White House. So that was what terrorist is defined as. So let's define terror. Terror is defined as any period of frightful violence or bloodshed. Violence or threats of violence used for intimidation or coercion. They wanted to intimidate that man, and that's a violent moment in time. If you're being held down by a group of angry white people and you're a black man and they're screaming white power and someone says go get a noose, you going to tell me he's not frightened? That man is fearing for his life. Fearing for his life. And up to this point, no one has been arrested. No one has been arrested. And it's just okay for you to just grab a black man that you don't agree with what he's saying and threaten to hang him from a tree. So again, is this 1820 or is this 2020? Is it 1820 or is it 2020? It's a sad day. Sometimes I feel like I'm living in the Twilight Zone. A sad day when people hate you so much simply because of the color of your skin. They hate you so much simply because you want the same rights and privileges as everyone else. As much as we have contributed to this country, we're still treated like animals. We're still treated like property. And people say America has come a long way. America hasn't come a long way. America is still the same hateful, white supremacist of a nation. And it's really sad. It's really sad. So my brothers and sisters, as I say all the time, for every black person that's legally able to carry a firearm, I encourage you to do so. Take your CCW class, get your carry and conceal license, and carry, because you never know when an angry mob of white men and white women screaming white power may grab you and say, get a noose. And you want to be able to protect yourself and your family. This is ODJ, Otis Drip Jones, MrDoItMan himself.